Mr. Sergeant at Arms.
All persons not entitled to privileges of the floor under the rules of the Senate must now vacate the chamber.
Please rise for the invocation by Pastor Kyle McDaniel of the Capitol Commission and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Our Father, thank you for your love and mercy. We gather today to consider the many needs and challenges of our broken world and how to best move forward to improve the lives of our great Commonwealth. The work, no doubt, can be overwhelming and at times seemingly impossible. But by your grace, I am confident these leaders called for this moment can and will rise to the occasion. Lord, I am grateful for the men and women assembled here. They've been entrusted with the duties of their office to choose what is best for their communities. I ask you to bless them with your wisdom and insight to discern what is good, right, and just. We begin this day of session in prayer, confessing we are weak and in need of your strength. But Lord, as we consider the needs facing these elected leaders today, we would be remiss not to mention those who remain at home. Many have traveled several hours to serve here in Frankfort. Behind are spouses, children, co-workers, and friends, and they are part of this work as well. Grant them the grace necessary to endure the final days of session, knowing their loved one is fulfilling their calling here today. Thank you for the privilege of calling Kentucky our home. Thank you for listening to our prayers, knowing you will respond in a way that we believe will bring you glory. Bless our state and our nation as we may pursue you above all things. And may your kingdom come, and may your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. In the name of your glorious Son we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg, Senator Boswell, Senator Carpenter, Senator Carroll, Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Clemens, Senator Deneen, Senator Douglas, Senator Elkins, Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Girdler, Senator Gibbons, Senator Herron, Senator Higdon, Senator Howell, Senator Maiden, Senator Mays-Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Meredith, Senator Mills, Senator Neal, Senator Nemes, Senator Nunn, Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Rawlings, Senator Reed, Senator Richardson, Senator Smith, Senator Stivers, Senator Storm, Senator Thomas, Senator Tishner, Senator Webb, Senator West, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams, Senator Wilson, Senator Wise.
Any member seeking recognition for the purpose of answering the roll? Seeing none. There being 34 members present, a quorum is declared since authorized and prepared to do business. First order of business would be excuse of absent senators. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that the absent senators be excused, please.
Without objection, the absent senators are excused. Next order of business is approval of the journal. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that the journal from Monday, March the 16th, 2026 be approved as written.
Without objection, the Journal from Monday, March 16th, 2026 is approved as written. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, we welcome all that are watching us today with our proceedings live on KET, some that may be in the annex viewing room that are watching our deliberations or as well watching online today as we conduct day 48 of Tuesday, March the 17th. Also, St. Patrick's Day, Mr. President. It's nice seeing so many green around here, and it's a good day for me to always say go Irish on this floor. And with that, I know we had our prayer, but there's always an Irish blessing. May the road rise up to meet you, and may the wind always be at your back, Mr. President. Thank you.
Senator Gerald McNeil. We're going to recognize the senator from Jessamine who is at the senator from Grayson's seat for introduction of a guest.
Thank you, Mr. President. We do have a guest here today. We have the clerk of the House, and he is here to address the Senate.
Welcome, Mr. Clerk.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, Mr. President. The House has passed House Bills 273, 311, 425, 566, 731, and also, Mr. President, the House has passed House Bill 1, the governor's veto notwithstanding, and respectfully request concurrence of this honorable body.
Thank you, young man. Now we'll go to our second reading of bills on the calendar. You have a report.
I do.
Please proceed.
Second readings of bills on the consent calendar. House Bill 5, an act relating to prison educational programs.
That bill will be deemed as having its second reading is now in the possession of the Rules Committee. Do you have a committee report, Mr. Clerk? Please continue with that.
Banking and Insurance Committee has met. Reports House Bill 164 should pass as consent. House Bill 265 should pass as consent with Senate Committee Sub 1. House Bill 527 should pass as consent. The Families and Children Committee has met and reports House Bill 611 should pass as consent. Licensing and Occupations Committee has met and reports House Bill 49 should pass as consent. House Bill 185 should pass with Senate Committee Sub 1 and Senate Committee Title Amendment 1. And House Bill 424 should pass as consent with Senate Committee Sub 1. House Bill 657 should pass. And that's it.
Does that conclude your report?
It does.
Those bills and resolutions receiving a favorable committee report shall be deemed as having their first reading and are to be placed upon the calendar. Next order of business would be introduction of new resolutions. Mr. Clerk, do you have any new resolutions? Please report those.
Senate Resolution 168, a resolution recognizing and honoring Chloe Yates for her advocacy in her Special Olympics Deleting the DIS in Disabled Community Service Initiative. Senator Tishner. Senate Resolution 169, resolution recognizing the value of student wellness and access to physical activity in schools. Senator Tishner. Senate Resolution 170, resolution honoring the Kentucky State Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Senator Mays Bledsoe.
Does that conclude all the new resolutions?
It does.
All right. Then we will go to orders of the day. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, before we get into the orders, I do need to make a motion, please.
Please proceed.
I move that House Bill 1 be taken from the Rules Committee and placed in the orders of the day for consideration of the governor's veto, as well as Senate Bill 183 with House amendments be taken from the Rules Committee and placed in the orders of the day for concurrence.
Upon the motion of the senator from Taylor, all those say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Those two will be placed, one in the veto override calendar, and that would be House Bill 1 and Senate Bill 183 shall be placed in the concurrence calendar, all which are part of the orders of the day. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, as we wait for those orders to be displayed before us on the screen,
Senator from Taylor, which one do you plan to call first?
I would like to do the
Concurrence
veto.
or veto override?
Absolutely, Mr. President.
Okay.
There we go. With that, Mr. President, I move that House Bill 1 be taken from its place in the orders of the day for consideration of the governor's veto and motion related thereto.
Mr. Clerk, would you please report House Bill 1?
House Bill 1, an act implementing the Federal Education Opportunity Program in Kentucky.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield to the senator from Green for explanation of House Bill 1.
Senator from Green.
Mr. President, members of the body, many of us recall House Bill 1 and the conversation we had not so very many days ago around this opportunity for Kentucky students and families. $1,700 federal tax credit, and I stress again, federal tax credit. But it's been so fascinating and exciting to hear the conversations after we passed House Bill 1 off of this floor and in that period of time when it was laying on the governor's desk. It's been exciting to me to hear the talk about innovation, creativity, the excitement that public schools across the state have about these federal tax dollars flowing in to new opportunities for students. I can't wait until we actually get to see the fruits of this labor and some of the innovative things that are going to be happening. As we think about what we're here to do today, overriding the governor's veto on House Bill 1, it's appropriate that we pick up his essay that he wrote to the teacher. His essay that he wrote, he includes these words. He writes, as governor, I've heard the message. I've proposed teacher raises, pre-K for all 4-year-olds, dollars for technology and continuing education. I have funded major renovations to our career and technical education centers. I pushed for more money for transportation, and I have worked to provide more mental health programs for our students. At the bottom, it has the logo Team Kentucky, and I'm reminded that there's not an I in team, but there's a lot of I's in this paragraph. Now, I want to refute very directly some of the statements made in the governor's essay that we refer to as a veto message. This conversation about a backdoor amendment 2 is totally and patently false. These are federal dollars. These are not state dollars. And I shared in my conversation last week, the only impact to the state budget from House Bill 1 can be a positive impact. Anytime we can infuse $400 to $600 million annually back into the economy of Kentucky, it can only be a positive tax revenue. Federal tax dollars, dollar for dollar credit coming back to Kentucky. One of the articles that we put together addresses the governor's concerns, and I refer to this as an essay, and I don't envy a student when they arrive with an answer that doesn't fit the question, and that's really what this veto message is. The governor's provided an answer, but it wasn't the question on the test. And so, as we prepare to grade the governor's veto message with the override that we're preparing to vote on, I want to shift gears for a minute. I'm going to go back to the better version of myself and the better version of all of us that exist in this body and in this chamber. Let's set aside the hyperbole. Let's set aside all the things that cause us to have concern and angst and false fear around this conversation. But let's leave this engagement today, regardless of where you vote or what you think. Let's leave this conversation today all being ambassadors for what we can do with new tax money, new federal tax money flowing into both public schools and private schools across the Commonwealth. If we can impact a kid's life, it shouldn't matter. It should not matter the path the child travels if we can impact that life in a positive way, which we can do at no cost to our citizens and at no detriment to our state budget. And so I encourage all members to vote for overriding the governor's veto and Senator from Taylor, I'll leave the formal motion to you regarding what we need to do with regard to motion for overriding the veto. But at this time, I do encourage all members to vote to override the veto. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, appreciate the words from Senator Green. I don't think there's any further explanation or any commentary that needs to be other than I move for passage of House Bill 1, the veto of the governor notwithstanding.
Matter for the body is passage, final passage of House Bill 1, veto of the governor notwithstanding. Senator from Jefferson 33.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I rise to support sustaining the governor's veto of House Bill 1. This decision is not about rejecting new approaches or limiting opportunity. It's about ensuring that any policy we adopt is carefully structured, accountable, and works well for all students and communities across the Commonwealth. The concerns raised give us a chance to slow down, take a closer look, and continue working together toward a solution that reflects our shared commitment to both innovation and strong public schools. For those reasons, I respectfully ask for your support in sustaining the veto.
Seeing no other person seeking recognition, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. An aye vote is to override the governor's veto. A no vote is to sustain it. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Boswell. Senator Carpenter. Senator Carroll. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Clemens. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Elkins. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Girdler. Senator Givens. Senator Herron. Senator Higdon. Senator Howell. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Meredith. Senator Mills. Senator Neal. Senator Nemes. Senator Nunn. Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Rawlings. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Smith. Senator Stivers.
Aye.
Senator Storm. Senator Thomas. Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator West. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise.
Seeing 31 yeas, 5 nays, House Bill 1 is finally passed. Veto of the governor notwithstanding. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, if you would, please have the clerk display the concurrence orders.
Madam Clerk, please display. There they are. They are displayed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 183 with House Committee Sub 1 be taken from the orders of the day for concurrence.
Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report Senate Bill 183.
Senate Bill 183, an act relating to the regulation of proxy advisory services.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield to the Senator from Scott for exclamation of the House Committee Sub and motion thereon.
Senator from Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. The amendment in the House was from a group that came forward and expressed concerns about nonprofits operating the proxy advisory space. They were concerned that them being subject to a cause of action under enforcement section of this bill would be unduly burdensome to them. So this amendment says that a nonprofit by itself or as a member of an affiliated group that receives less than $500,000 a year in gross revenue from proxy advisor services is exempt from cause of action. This is similar language to what Indiana passed, and it preserves the ability for the Attorney General to take action against a nonprofit if necessary. With that, Mr. President, I move for final passage of Senate Bill 183 as a...
We need to report the committee substitute. Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report House Committee Substitute number 1.
House Committee Sub 1 to Senate Bill 183.
Senator from Scott, do you move to concur with House Committee Substitute?
I move to concur with the committee substitute, Mr. President.
The matter for the body is concurrence of the House Committee Substitute. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. House Committee Substitute number 1 is concurred with. Now, Senator from Scott, final passage of 183 as amended and concurred with by this body.
Mr. President, I was so eager to get this fine piece of legislation through that I jumped the gun a little bit, but now I do move for final passage of Senate Bill 183 as amended.
The matter before the body is final passage of Senate Bill 183 as amended by House Committee Substitute number 1 and concurred with by this body. Seeing no one seeking recognition, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Boswell. Senator Carpenter. Senator Carroll. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Clemens. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Elkins. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Girdler. Senator Givens. Senator Herron. Senator Higdon. Senator Howell. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Meredith. Senator Mills. Senator Neal. Senator Nemes. Senator Nunn. Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Rawlings. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Smith. Senator Stivers. Senator Storm. Senator Thomas. Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator West. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise.
Seeing no one else seeking to change or explain their vote, Senate Bill 183, as amended and concurred with by this body, is finally passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, if the clerk would display the regular orders for today.
Madam Clerk, if you would. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 263 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report Senate Bill 263.
Senate Bill 263, an act relating to education. Senator West.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield to the Senator from Bourbon for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Bourbon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to speak on the School of Innovation Cleanup Bill, Senate Bill 263. What I'm getting ready to speak about is also contained in the sub, so I'd like to take care of the sub at this time. So, Mr. President, if you would, please ask the clerk to report Senate Committee Substitute 1 to Senate Bill 263.
Mr. Clerk, if you would, please report Senate Committee Substitute number 1.
Senate Committee Sub 1 to Senate Bill 263.
Senator from Bourbon.
Move for adoption.
The matter for the body is adoption. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. Ayes have it. Senate Committee Substitute number 1 is adopted. Senator from Bourbon.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the School of Innovation Cleanup Bill. There are two distinct parts to it. As I get started, though, I want to read the initial paragraph of the bill. We have some really educated committee staff here in the LRC, and I thought these few sentences kind of sums up the School of Innovation project and this bill. The General Assembly hereby finds and declares that locally driven innovation in public education can improve school operations and student outcomes. It is the intent of the General Assembly that Section 2, 3, and 4 of this Act provide local boards of education with flexibility to depart from statutory and administrative requirements that may constrain improvement in order to pilot, implement, and refine innovative practices, particularly in schools serving students with unmet academic needs. And so that paragraph kind of sums up the whole School of Innovation bill that we passed last year, SB 207. This bill does two distinct things. The first part of the bill is just some technical cleanup language that Katie requested.
The second part requires KDE to cooperate with the local boards of education and basically help them with any technical expertise they may need as they apply for a waiver. And the third part of that section establishes a list of expedited waivers. And so the list of expedited waivers, what that would do is, rather than having to go through this long drawn-out process of back and forth over a year's time, what regs are in play, what laws are in play, it sets up a pretty clear idea for the districts and the boards of education that if you're requesting this waiver, it's kind of like pull it off the shelf. If you request that waiver, this is the waiver you're getting, and here's how. It makes the process simpler to receive the waiver. That's the first part of the bill. Maybe most importantly is part 2 of the bill. It sets up a pilot project for schools of innovation in the state of Kentucky. I will be advocating for additional funds in this year's budget to provide some seed money for these pilot projects. And the way they're set up is there will be 3 pilot projects, 3 specific schools of innovation. There is no regional component to this. It's not limited to one part of the state. This is anywhere in the state of Kentucky. You have the opportunity to apply to be a school of innovation. My idea, the money I would be asking for in the budget would be $2.5 million per year for each school of innovation. That would be over a 3-year contract term, and as part of that, the entity coming forward would have to match that $2.5 million pilot project grant. And so those are the 2 distinct parts, parts 1 and 2. If there are no questions, Mr. President, I would urge passage of 263 as amended by Senate Committee Substitute 1.
The matter for the body is passage of Senate Bill 263 as amended. Seeing no one seeking recognition, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg, Senator Boswell, Senator Carpenter, Senator Carroll, Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Clemens, Senator Deneen, Senator Douglas, Senator Elkins, Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Girdler, Senator Givens, Senator Herron, Senator Higdon, Senator Howell, Senator Maiden, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Meredith, Senator Mills, Senator Neal, Senator Nemes, Senator Nunn, Senator Rocky Adams, Senator Rawlings, Senator Reed, Senator Richardson, Senator Smith, Senator Stivers, Senator Storm, Senator Thomas, Senator Tishner, Senator Webb, Senator West, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams, Senator Wilson, Senator Wise.
Any member seeking recognition to cast, change, or explain their vote? Seeing none, there being 30 yea votes, 6 nay votes, Senate Bill 263 as amended is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 281 be taken from its place in the orders of the day and read for the 3rd time by title only and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, please report Senate Bill 281.
Senate Bill 281, an act relating to grandparent visitation. Senator Girdler.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield to the Senator from Pulaski for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Pulaski, you're recognized by the chair for the purpose of action on Senate Bill 281 and amendments thereto.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Could you have the clerk report Senate Committee 1?
Mr. Clerk, please report Senate Committee Substitute 1.
Senate Committee Sub 1 to Senate Bill 281.
Senator from Pulaski.
Move for adoption.
Motion for the bodies on adoption of the committee sub. All those in favor of adoption say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Senate Committee Substitute 1 is adopted. Senator from Pulaski.
This bill, I've been in the Senate, this is my 9th year, and I've heard about people my age having grandkids, and some with the way the systems are today. We're not trying to change parents here. We're trying to help grandparents. And this is what the grandparents that I've talked to that's had trouble getting visitation rights or getting to be able to see their grandkids. And the committee sub basically deals with that if it's not a parent, it's a kinship of, like we talked here on the other day on the floor, that it don't have to have the strict rules like it does as a parent. We're not trying to take the child from the parent. The grandparent is not. It's for visitation rights, and so I think the words that it's for the preponderance of the evidence, which is less than for a parent that has a child. One of the proudest days of my life, and I've had 9 of them now, is when I have my grandkids and when I had my first grandson. And I've often heard this said many times. If I know the grandkids would have been this much fun, they'd had them first. Well, it's one of my pride and joys that when my grandkids come over or when I go there. So, and I can't imagine life without being able to see my grandkids. I can't imagine. And so many people my age, or some people my age, are raising their own grandkids. So all I'm trying to do here is help with the idea that grandparent be able to see their grandchild if that child is not being raised by a parent. And I know, again, I want to reemphasize, we're not trying to take the child away from the parents. All we want to do with this bill is basically see our precious grandkids. And if there is no comments, I move for passage of Senate Bill 281 with Senate Subcommittee 1.
The motion for the body is on the passage of Senate Bill 281 as amended. Any member seeking recognition to speak on the motion? Senator from Clay to speak to the motion for passage.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the body. The senator from Pulaski presented this in the Judiciary Committee. I don't practice like I once did, but possibly some of the other practitioners here, if they believe I'm wrong, could correct me. But I think the senator from Pulaski has done a very good job when you think about the case law. And the day I did practice a lot, the case law that was governing on parental rights and grandparents' rights was a case out of the Washington State called Troxel versus Troxel. Went up to the United States Supreme Court and basically said that you had to do something very serious to give or for the parent to abdicate their parental rights to get to what we now in Kentucky call de facto custodian status. Well, the senator from Pulaski has done a very good job when you think about the statute section 403, which is what a judge shall consider, and the de facto status portion of the KRSs, to thread the needle to make sure that it is in compliance with federal law and that right that a parent does have of raising their child, that it is a right that is hard to vacate or come up to the level of having equal standing within the court system. So this is something that a lot of us, and as I get older, I think about my granddaughter, little Mia Faith, down in Pulaski County, who's probably seen more by the senator from Pulaski than by me. But this is a really good attempt, and I think very easily defended in the courts, about how grandparents can seek to have some type of standing and visitation with their grandchildren. Over my years of practice, many people have attempted to do this. Laws have changed, circumstances have changed, but I would hope that everyone in this body would support Senate Bill 281 as amended by committee substitute.
Senator from Perry, you wish to speak to the motion for passage?
Yes, I do. I'd like to speak on the bill if I could. You know, my district has been plagued with what we used to call OxyFest and a lot of the addiction down there. And there's lots of reasons why. When you close 318 coal mines in 9 months, you take people that are used to going in and being useful, working 60 hours a week, and we've had some families that work 16, 18 years and never missed a day, and then they don't have any job. They're sitting around the house or the trade or whatever, and so you see these things percolate, and drug abuse takes over, and a lot of the numbers change. But one thing has been certain that has saved us in my region is that our grandparents. So many of their grandparents have had to step in as we've seen a whole generation struggle with addiction, and I can't imagine what the numbers would look like in our district if it wasn't for these grandparents. But it's not just them. A lot of my teachers have come forward because so much of the education system has changed that a lot of times I myself have trouble keeping up with my children's work. So they came on their own and volunteered at certain places so that the grandparents could bring the kids and they could help educate them and tutor them to get them caught up so we didn't have this big gap. But this is something that Kentucky's battled with. I think this is a remarkable piece of legislation, well overdue. I think I've received a lot of calls from some grandparents in my area that have been just bawling because the kids become some sort of a pawn and a play between adults where it shouldn't be. But I commend the bill. I encourage you all to vote for it, and can tell you right now I could name 2 people back in Hazard that'll be very, very pleased with this. So I'd like to thank the gentleman and encourage you to vote for it.
Again, the motion for consideration by the body is on the passage of Senate Bill 281 as amended by Senate Committee Substitute 1. Seeing no other members seeking recognition to speak on the motion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Boswell. Senator Carpenter. Senator Carroll. Senator Chambers Armstrong.
Senator from Jefferson 19, please cast your vote first and explain.
May I explain my I vote, please?
Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. I vote yes. I think this is a really important piece of legislation, and I share the sponsor's goals of making sure that grandparents have ways to be awarded visitation with their grandchildren. The senator from Clay spoke about the Troxel decision. When I was reading the Troxel decision, I'm a little concerned about the clear and convincing evidence standard that we have in Section 1 and the way that interacts with what the court said, which is in Troxel, which is that you must give significant weight to the presumption that a parent acts in the best interests of their children. I think we're actually inadvertently making it a little bit harder than the status quo for grandparents to be able to establish that they're entitled to visitation. And so I think we can make a few tweaks to better serve the goals of the sponsor. I've spoken with the sponsor about this, and I hope we can make those changes in the House. But I think this is a really great piece of legislation. Thank you.
Senator Clemens. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Elkins. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Girdler. Senator Givens.
Aye.
Senator Herron. Senator Higdon. Senator Howell. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Meredith. Senator Mills. Senator Neal. Senator Nemus. Senator Nunn. Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Rawlings. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Smith. Senator Stivers. Senator Storm. Senator Thomas. Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator West. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise.
Any member seeking recognition to cast, change, or explain their vote? Senator Rocky Adams casts an aye vote. Appears all members have voted. There being 36 yea votes, no nay votes, Senate Bill 281 is amended by Senate Committee Substitute 1 is passed. It appears we may have a visitor here in the chamber. Senator from Scott, did the enrollment committee meet in the back corner on St. Patrick's Day?
We did indeed, Mr.
It was
President.
a small
We run
group, small gathering.
very efficient, well-run meetings, Mr. President. We have met and find that Senate Bill 183 is in order and ready for your signature, Mr. President.
Chair is preparing to sign Senate Bill 183. Thank you. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I think when we find where that enrollment committee meets, there's probably a pot of gold wherever that meeting does take place.
The end of the rainbow.
Absolutely. Mr. President, I move that Senate Bill 324 be taken from its place in the orders of the day, read for the third time by title only, and placed upon its passage.
Mr. Clerk, please report Senate Bill 324.
Senate Bill 324, an act relating to the film industry credit. Senator Stivers.
Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I yield to the Senator from Clay for explanation of the bill.
Senator from Clay, you're recognized for action on Senate Bill 324 and amendments thereto.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you would, please have the clerk report Senate Committee Substitute Number 1.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
Senate Committee Sub 1 to Senate Bill 324.
Senator from Clay.
Mr. President, members of the body, I generally go through and discuss if the Senate Committee Substitute makes a lot of substantive change, but really it doesn't. It's more technical in nature. So therefore, I would move adoption of Senate Committee Substitute Number 1.
Motion by the body is on adoption of the committee sub. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Senate Committee Substitute 1 is adopted. Senator from Clay.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a continuation of last year, the Senator from Pike's Senate Bill 1. Since then, and starting a little bit before, there has been a lot of excitement created here in the state of Kentucky. Now, the Senator from Jefferson 36 and the Senator from Taylor tend to kid me that I don't have any reference of current pop culture. But I want them to know that we recently had a film in Louisville that was done by Ethan Hawke. Yes, I do know who Ethan Hawke is. He played in The Magnificent Seven, which was a repeat of the original Magnificent Seven, where I do have current, or at least pop culture reference. It's just 60 years old. But he did play in that movie, and just, I think, 2 days ago, Ethan Hawke was up for an Academy Award. So I hope the Senator from Jefferson 36 and the Senator from Taylor are thoroughly impressed with my current pop culture knowledge. It's limited, but it's there. But this bill and what was done by the Senator from Pike last year has created a dynamic here, and I think I heard somebody in our caucus meeting say that 3 films had been done in their area since last year. There's substantial investment coming in here. When I say substantial investment, capital investment. People are designing and building and looking at film stages and production studios, either those that are current or expanding or new. There's actually a $50 million application going in from the city of Louisville to create a whole dynamic around the education and development of workforce that would be done somewhere around the old Louisville Stoneware Pottery Company in that area. So there are lots of things happening. What does this bill do? It goes to smooth out the rough edges. One, there's a lot of technical things in there because we now have Meg Pfister, who is the executive director, and it changes the office versus the cabinet and all that. There's a lot of that technical language. But here are the bigger parts of this. One, if we're part of a larger film production, such as, now here I'm going to have to go, Iron Man. There we go. I didn't watch it very often. That's filmed in multiple states, that we can use part of the filming and use it as an incentive for a partial filming, but make sure it has the protections that you can't push a lot of expenses into the state. It has to be proportional. It comes so it can help develop and keep the industry population of workers here to allow videos, commercials, and other types of smaller things that go on, especially gaming, which I have learned is actually a larger industry than the movie industry, to have access to similar types of credits. It has a rollover clause in it that the unused credits can be rolled over into a next year, so you can go after a much larger production. And it also deals with some things related to what can be considered. This is another thing. We missed out on one film. What can be considered in the way of credit applicable. There are, while we develop the staffing and the groups of people who will work here, the workforce, it is necessary to bring a lot of people in from Atlanta or Chicago or New York or LA, and some of those expenses weren't considered in Senate Bill 1 of last year. But this is the norm among the industry. So these are the different things that we have seen over the last year that many in the industry, Motion Picture Association, the norm in other states are looking to make us even more competitive, create a better dynamic here, and more investment for the state. That's what the Senate Committee Substitute does in conformity with the original text of 324. If there are any questions, I would gladly accept them. If there is not, I would move for passage of Senate Bill 324 as amended by Senate Committee Substitute number 1.
Motion for the body is on the passage of Senate Bill 324 as amended. Not seeing any members seeking recognition, we will move directly to a vote. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Boswell. Senator Carpenter. Senator Carroll. Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Clemens. Senator Deneen. Senator Douglas. Senator Elkins. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Girdler. Senator Givens. Senator Herron. Senator Higdon. Senator Howell. Senator Maiden. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Meredith. Senator Mills. Senator Neal. Senator Nemes. Senator Nunn. Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Rawlings. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Smith. Senator Stivers. Senator Storm. Senator Thomas. Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator West. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Wilson. Senator Wise.
Any member seeking recognition to change or explain their vote? Seeing no members seeking recognition, there being 36 yea votes, no nay votes, Senate Bill 324 is amended by Senate Committee Substitute 1 is passed. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, we're going to pass over the remaining bills, that being House Bill 555 and House Bill 562, but I ask that we retain their place in the orders.
Very well. Hearing no objection, we shall be passing over House Bill 555 and 562, but retaining their place in the orders of the day. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, with that concludes today's orders of the day.
The next order of business is a meeting of the Rules Committee and Committee on Committees. Senator from Taylor.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate recess for a meeting of the Rules Committee and the Committee on Committees at the clerk's desk, please.
This Senate shall stand in recess until I call the chair for the aforementioned committee meetings. Senate will come to order. Next order of business is a meeting of the rules. The next order of business is a report of committees. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Clerk, please report.
There is no Rules Committee report, but the Committee on Committees has met and referred the following bills and resolutions to the Appropriations and Revenue Committee, House Bill 816, to the Senate floor, Senate Resolutions 166 and 167.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Next order of business is motions, petitions, resolutions, communications, and announcements. Senator from Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I got some bill readings, please.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Mr. President, with that, I move that Senate Bill 163 be taken from Committee on Committees, given its first reading, and returned to the Committee on Committees.
Mr. Clerk, please report Senate Bill 163.
Senate Bill 163, an act relating to unemployment insurance. Senator Wheeler.
Senator from Taylor, is that the only first reading we're doing today?
That is correct, Mr. President.
Let the record reflect that Senate Bill 163 has been taken from the committee, given a first reading, and returned back to committee. That is Senate Bill 163. Senator from Taylor, you have further motion on bill readings.
Mr. President, I do. I make the motion that the following House bills, that being House Bill 500, House Bill 503, House Bill 504, and House Bill 900, be taken from the Appropriations and Revenue Committee, given their second reading, and returned to the Committee on Appropriations and Revenue.
Mr. Clerk, please report House Bill 500, 503, 504, and 900 for a second reading.
House Bill 500, an act relating to appropriations measures, providing funding and establishing conditions for the operations, maintenance, support, and functioning of the government of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and its various officers, cabinets, departments, boards, commissions, institutions, subdivisions, agencies, and other state-supported activities. House Bill 503, an act making appropriations for the operations, maintenance, and support of the legislative branch of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. House Bill 504, an act making appropriations for the operations, maintenance, support, and functioning of the judicial branch of the government of the Commonwealth of Kentucky and its various officers, boards, commissions, subdivisions, and other state-supported activities. House Bill 900, an act relating to government agencies, making an appropriation therefore and declaring an emergency.
Let the record reflect that in accord with the Constitution, House Bill 500, 503, 504, and 900 have been read for a second day, a second reading. Senator from Taylor, you have further need?
Mr. President, the last thing I need is I move that Senate Bill 195 be taken from the Judiciary Committee, given its second reading, and returned to the Judiciary Committee.
Hearing no objection, Mr. Clerk, please report Senate Bill 195.
Senate Bill 195, an act relating to civil causes of action.
Let the record reflect that Senate Bill 195 has been taken from committee, given a second reading, and returned back to committee. Continuing in the order of business of motions, petitions, resolutions, communications, and announcements, Senator from Kenton, you have need?
Yes, Mr. President.
What would that be?
Announcement and then to communicate with the body.
Please proceed.
Mr. President, the Appropriations and Revenue Committee will meet at 10 a.m. tomorrow in Annex Room 171.
10 a.m. meeting. Members of Appropriations and Revenue, please take note. Senator from Kenton.
Thank you, Mr. President. To communicate with the body.
Please proceed.
Mr. President, as it comes to the surprise of absolutely no one in this chamber today, we have been absorbed in the finances of the Commonwealth for the past several months around here and for the past several weeks very acutely in the state Senate. And while there are lots of things that will draw my attention and the attention of the committee, the one thing that draws our attention the most is when people who we expect to be in the black come to us and say, we're really in the red. When we read about the operations of the Commonwealth in the newspapers, we begin to worry. When we read about finances, academic failings, safety, we become concerned, and it causes us to dig deeper. In a deeper dive into the finances of Kentucky State through this process have yielded some very disturbing findings. And I want to share two of those with this body today, and they involve contracts made by the previous administration at Kentucky State. And I will start with this statement. If you have not met Dr. Acapo and seen some of the things that he has done at Kentucky State, you are missing a man who is performing admirably under some of the worst circumstances possible. But I want to talk about two things that he was handed before I start, or as we talk today. First of all, an energy savings contract where Kentucky State borrowed and paid $16.3 million for guaranteed energy savings. You know, you would think that this should be relatively straightforward. But one of the line items really caught my eye as I looked through to see what their energy savings were. And I can't say that I think there would be anybody who wouldn't be surprised by the fact that the replacement of a grass football field with a turf football field is listed as an energy savings under this contract. Further, the money that they are to save is based off of the estimates provided by the very contractor who received the upfront payment for these purported energy savings. And that's deal number one. Deal number two gets even more exciting. Some of us will remember a P3 on the new dorm at Kentucky State University. A 35-year ground lease from Kentucky State to a developer who created an entity called KSU Campus Housing, LLC. That outfit built, leased the building back, operates and maintains the building for 30 years for a management fee which is on top of the leasing fee and the repayment of the debt for which Kentucky State is on the hook. The principal interest and operations and maintenance fees amount to $3.7 million per year for the life of the debt agreement, which runs through 2056. Now, interestingly, operations and maintenance, there is a guaranteed minimum paid to the developer for the maintenance of the building that they own. In year one, for operations and maintenance, the minimum is $387,431 with a management fee of $309,168. In year 30, that number goes to a guaranteed minimum in operations and maintenance, because mind you, K-State cannot fix this building. They must call on the developer to send their crews to charge back to Kentucky State for repairs in this building. That guaranteed number goes to $913,000 for operations and maintenance, with a fixed management fee of $728,576 in year 30. It would be a heck of a deal if you could get it. Over the course of this loan, in addition to the principal, Kentucky State will repay $41 million in interest. Now, Kentucky State can't get out of this lease until November the 1st of 2031, and it looks like the payment to get out might be around $40 million. But they're still on the hook for the operations and maintenance payments for the life of the lease until 2056. I thought Kentucky Wired sounded like a good deal. But I digress. Mr. President, if we are to fix our beleaguered institutions, we must, in some way, stand with those who we have called upon to do the fixing. In this case, President Acapo. As I look through these, there's the potential that everything about them is completely legitimate. There's the potential that it's not. So I rise today to say to you that I'm calling upon the Auditor and the Attorney General of the Commonwealth to look into both of these contracts, to look into the principles involved in the firms behind them, and whether or not there was anything that was potentially improper. Because I think if we're going to give Kentucky State a chance, we have to help them. We have to help them help themselves. And sometimes that involves an ability that is beyond their own, and I can assure you, Mr. President, this General Assembly will engage in that endeavor as appropriate. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator from Kenton. Next in the queue, I have the Senator from Campbell. What purpose under this order of business?
A very kind, mild communication with the body.
Please proceed.
Our clerk from Kenton County and Franklin County passed along to me, and I wanted to share with the body. The Kentucky County Clerks Association would like to invite them tonight to the Foundry at 6 p.m. for a little special time with our Kentucky County Clerks Association.
Members, please take note. Senator from Henderson, what purpose do you wish to be recognized?
Announcement, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
Listen up, lads and laddies. The grand St. Patrick's Day reception brought to you by the fine folks at McCarthy Strategic Solutions is kicking off tonight. We'll be gathering at the Goodwood Brewery right here in downtown Frankfort. The crack starts at 5 p.m. and we'll get going and going strong till 9 p.m. Don't be late or you'll be drinking the dregs.
The chair has no comment. Senator from Bullitt, what purpose do you wish to be recognized?
Thank you, Mr. President. Do I have to follow that?
Sorry.
For an announcement.
Please proceed.
The state and local government will meet tomorrow at 11 a.m. in room 171.
State and local government committee members, 11 a.m. meeting. Please take note. Senator from Jessamine, what purpose?
Announcement, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
Mr. President, the Senate Health Services Committee will be meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning in room 169.
Health Services Committee members, 8 a.m. meeting. Please take note. Senator from Hardin, what purpose?
Address the body, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
Mr. President, it is my unfortunate duty to announce that we have lost another Kentuckian during the recent conflict with Iran, Tech Sergeant Ashley B. Pruitt from Bardstown. And at this time, I would like to defer to the senator from Marion who represents that area for further comment.
Senator from Marion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would you have the clerk to please report Senate Resolution 167 and read it in its entirety?
Mr. Clerk, please report Senate Resolution 167 in its entirety.
Senate Resolution 167, resolution honoring and remembering Technical Sergeant Ashley B. Pruitt upon her passing as she made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. Whereas a daughter of Bardstown, Technical Sergeant Ashley B. Pruitt shared a life with her husband, Gregory Pruitt, and their 3-year-old daughter, and her stepson. Whereas Technical Sergeant Pruitt joined the U.S. Air Force in 2017, deployed 4 times, had nearly 900 combat flight hours, and held 2 associate degrees from the Community College of the Air Force. Whereas Tech Sergeant Pruitt most recently served with the 99th Air Refueling Squadron from Sumter Smith Joint National Guard Base in Birmingham, Alabama. She was an Assistant Flight Chief of Operations and was an instructor in operating the refueling boom of a KC-135 Stratotanker. Whereas on March 12, 2026, while supporting Operation Epic Fury, Tech Sergeant Pruitt's final mission ended in the deserts of western Iraq when her KC-135 went down, taking Tech Sergeant Pruitt and 5 other service members with it. Whereas Technical Sergeant Pruitt lived with courage, a spirit of service, and a love for her country that took her from the heart of Nelson County to the furthest reaches of the globe. Her husband stated she was in a word, radiant. If there was a light in the room, she was it. Whereas the country, our Commonwealth, and her family all mourn the loss of Tech Sergeant Pruitt, whose life and heroic service will never be forgotten. And whereas, as General Stephen Nordhaus said, our greatest history is written in the lives of the people like Ashley. She was the daughter of Nelson County, a sister in arms, and a hero for us all. Her watch is ended, her flight finished, and she's home at last in the hearts of those who loved her. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the Senate hereby honors and remembers Technical Sergeant Ashley B. Pruitt upon her passing as she made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation.
Senator from Marion.
Thank you, Mr. President. We want to extend our deepest condolences to Ashley's family, her fellow airmen, the entire Barstown and Nelson County community. Her service and sacrifice remind us that the freedoms we enjoy every day are protected by brave Americans willing to stand in harm's way. It reminds us, Mr. President, that freedom is not free. May God bless Ashley's family, and may we remember her. May she rest in peace. And, Mr. President, it'd be appropriate if you would ask for a moment of silence for Ashley Pruitt.
Certainly appropriate. Let's go ahead and adopt that resolution first, if we could, Senator
Yes,
from
sir.
Marion.
Mr. President, move for the adoption, Senate Resolution 167.
Motion before the body is on the adoption of Senate Resolution number 167. All those in favor of adoption, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Senate Resolution 167 is adopted. Senate, let us do stand in honor of the bravery and commitment of Technical Sergeant Pruitt and in memoriam of a soul that's lost. Thank you, Senator. Please share our condolences with the Pruitt family.
Thank you.
Thank you. Continuing in order of business, Senator from Hardin, do you have further need? Thank you, sir. And Senator from Marion, that was your need as well, or do you have further need? Please proceed.
Announcement, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
Senate Transportation Committee will meet tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock in room 131. That's a new time, so make note. Room 11 o'clock tomorrow, room 131.
Transportation's moving to a new time.
A new time.
Very
tomorrow.
well. Members, please take note. Senator from Scott, what purpose?
Communicate with the body, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
When I walked into my office this morning and found this lapel pin on my desk, I was excited. I saw an Irish flag. I said, that'd be great to wear today. And I picked it up and I saw a name. It's Thomas Marr. When I talked to the president, Mr. President, earlier, he mentioned he'd heard it pronounced Mihar. And I assume that's kind of like somebody saying Pineville versus Pineville, where me and the senator from Bell are from. But Thomas Marr, as I know him to be called, is quite a hero, both an Irish and an American hero. He was born in the noble class in Ireland, and he really did not want to take advantage of that station in life, and he fought with a young group of people known as the Young Irelanders who fought for independence from the British in the 1800s. One of the people in that group is coincidentally Oscar Wilde's mother. She was in that group of people who were ultimately convicted, and many of them hanged for their treason against the crown. Since he did have high station in life, he was exiled to Australia, which was a penal colony at the time, and he escaped from Australia and made it to the U.S. and did many great things while he was in the U.S. One of the things that he did, he led the famous and very effective Celtic Brigade who fought for the North in the Civil War. After the war, he was honored with the title of governor of the Montana Territory. And because of his actions in the war, he was assassinated by a group of former Confederate soldiers. But he lived quite a life, and he is memorialized still today in Missoula, Montana, with a Thomas Marr bar. And I just thought it's fitting to share his legacy today while we're wearing his pin on this St. Patrick's Day, Mr. President.
Very well said. Thank you, Senator from Scott. Any other members seeking recognition of this order of business? Seeing no other members seeking recognition, the next order of business is introduction of floor amendments. Mr. Clerk, please introduce any new floor amendments to the body. No need. There being no need, next order of business is introduction of resolutions. Do we have any new resolutions to introduce? Also no need. There being no need as well. Final order of business is adjournment, but I've been alerted that we need to keep the floor open for the purpose of enrolling House Bill 1, and that will be the sole purpose of keeping the floor open. Senator from Perry, I'm sorry. I don't see you in the queue. What purpose do you wish to be recognized?
Yeah, I'm going to have to get this checked in there because I'm not sure if it's coming up, but I want to be brief. I just wanted to record some votes. I was out yesterday battling a kidney stone, which is still with me, so hopefully if you see me dash out of here, you'll know it's a win. But I recorded my votes, and they do not affect the outcome. I just want to make sure that was taken care of as housekeeping measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator from Perry. So, Senator from Taylor, your motion is going to be for a recess. And again, when we reconvene, it will be solely for the purpose of enrolling House Bill 1. Senator from Taylor.
Absolutely. Mr. President, I make the motion the Senate recess till the call of the chair.
The Senate shall stand in recess until the call of the chair for the aforementioned business.